Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a genuinely surprising announcement from the VR platform, Liminal. We're diving into their brand new, highly anticipated category and looking at how a total honest-to-goodness accident in their testing lab completely redefined our understanding of emotional resets. Now, if you've been following Liminal's journey, building immersive environments to shift cognitive states, you know they are incredibly deliberate. But the story behind this latest launch, it's anything but expected.
So, right off the bat, think about this. What if fear could be fun, safe, and actually good for us? I know. It sounds like a total contradiction. As humans, we're literally hardwired to run away from things that scare us. But just think about your own life for a second. Why on earth do we willingly line up for massive roller coasters or pay good money to sit in a dark theater to watch a suspense thriller? Why do kids absolutely love playing hide and seek? What if that exact same thrill, the racing heart, that laser-sharp focus, could be safely harnessed in virtual reality to actually make us feel better?
Well, this brings us to a super fascinating concept called recreational fear. The idea is that when fear is chosen, contained, and understood to be completely safe, it can act as a powerful emotional reset. Think about it. When you remove the actual real-world threat, so your conscious brain knows for sure you're safe, but your body is still riding that wave of suspense, you get this amazing rush. You get tension, the buildup of anticipation, and then just massive relief. And that post-scare buzz, it actually leaves us feeling energized, a whole lot lighter, and oddly cheerful. It's not just some fringe theory. It's a profoundly effective psychological tool.
To really wrap our heads around how Liminal is actually applying this concept, we've got to rewind a bit. Picture this. It's April 2017, inside Liminal's Melbourne office on Collins Street. What probably looked like a totally standard team meeting was actually a moment of absolute panic and triage. They were prototyping this early VR experience for their energy category called Ion. The creative concept, penned by the CEO actually, involved surrounding the user with this really intense red force field. And, well, let's just say it went completely sideways.
Let's look at the numbers to see exactly what happened here. Before anyone stepped into this Ion prototype, their baseline moods were, perfectly normal. Tension was hovering all the way down at a mere 4%. Cheerfulness was also sitting quietly at 4%. Folks were just feeling neutral, relaxed, calm, which is exactly what you'd expect before trying out a digital well-being tool, right?
But man, immediately after experiencing that intense red force field, the data flipped upside down. Tension violently spiked from 4% all the way to 26%. The team was completely horrified. Remember, this was supposed to be an uplifting energy app, definitely not a stress inducer. They were making people incredibly tense, which obviously triggered a total all-hands-on-deck scramble to fix the experience. But in the middle of that chaos, they noticed something really weird.
This was the ultimate aha moment. 30 minutes after taking off the headset, the tension didn't just slowly drop. It basically vanished altogether. And even more crazy, cheerfulness absolutely skyrocketed to a massive 39%. Most of those same people who were super stressed right after the experience were suddenly feeling incredibly upbeat and cheerful. This totally happy accident proved to the Liminal team that a controlled, contained scare could trigger a massive positive emotional reset once those tense feelings faded away.
So here's the really crucial takeaway from all this. That 2017 incident completely rewrote Liminal's DNA. They had a huge VRLA presentation looming and had to aggressively triage that Ion app to bring the tension down. But more importantly, it cemented a hardcore safety-first mindset across the entire company. Because let's face it, when you're literally altering human emotions, you absolutely cannot be reckless. Thanks to that early scare, Liminal's standards today are incredibly high. Out of all the VR experiences pitched by their partners, only about 1 in 10 actually makes it onto the platform. They've even pulled dozens of live experiences over the years just to be 100% sure everything is psychologically safe for all ages.
Feeling the weight of that responsibility, Liminal definitely didn't just rush out and start making scary content. No way. They spent years, literally years, building up an immense amount of trust with their users. They started out with calm and energy back in 2018, rolled out awe and relief in 2020, then they hit the MetaQuest store in 2022, and by 2023 launched Focus and Sleep. They meticulously built up this entire ecosystem of positive, really helpful emotional states. And it's only now, after years of rigorous research and trust building, that they finally feel ready to tackle one of our most misunderstood emotions.
Now, if you're a longtime user of the platform, you've probably noticed something a bit mysterious hanging out in Liminal's virtual environments over the years. These gray ghost monoliths. These unlit portals were always a little wink, a not-so-subtle hint that there was more on the horizon. See, from day one back in 2014, Liminal was designed to cover a huge spectrum of emotions, not just standard meditation. And they unlocked these monoliths very, very carefully. For example, they were shocked to discover that awe actually became their most popular category by a mile. Focus was born from deep academic rigor, specifically Dr. Adam Barton's PhD research, while sleep required some completely novel closed-eye design work. Every single time a monolith lights up, there is deep intention behind it.
Which brings us right to the final monolith. As they gear up to unlock it, we absolutely have to be clear about what they mean here. Because fear does not equal horror. When most of us think of cinematic horror or scary video games, we picture gore, graphic violence, cruelty, really realistic threats, stuff that's genuinely traumatizing. Liminal fear is the complete opposite of that. It's all about atmosphere. It's about suspense, a sense of mystery, anticipation. It relies on the psychological safety of knowing you are totally secure while still getting to experience an awesome thrill.
To make sure they nail that balance, Liminal has set some extremely clear boundaries for this new category. As they perfectly phrased it in their announcement, you are absolutely not going to find any axe-wielding maniacs in here. Zero clowns with shark teeth, none of that. Instead, they're creating tension using pure atmosphere, darkness, highly immersive sound design, perfect timing, and just sparking your own imagination. It's the thrill of, say, walking a plank between two virtual skyscrapers, or standing right on the edge of a huge drop. Because it feels way more like an exhilarating theme park ride than a genuine risk, it's actually suitable for a really broad audience. And all of that brings us to the grand finale of this journey. This October, that final gray monolith is finally lighting up. Liminal is officially launching the Dark Fear portal, seamlessly adding it to their already stunning lineup of calm, energy, awe, relief, focus, and sleep. It's undeniably a bold move, but as we've just seen, it's a move backed up by years of hard data, super careful curation, and a really deep understanding of how human psychology actually works.
So, why does all this matter for you? Well, because experiencing fear in a safe way actually has incredible practical utility. Look at the breakdown here. For schools, this is a completely new tool to help teach playful courage and build emotional resilience in a really controlled, bounded environment. For workplaces, instead of sitting through just another standard wellness app, your team gets a short, highly energizing emotional reset that legitimately leaves people laughing and bonding over a shared thrill. And for families, it's just an amazing space to explore some big feelings together and enjoy that incredible wash of relief and pure joy that hits right after a good, safe scare.
It's just wild to think that a moment of total panic back in a 2017 testing lab has evolved into such a groundbreaking approach to our emotional well-being. It really goes to show that fear isn't always the bad guy. Sometimes it's exactly the jolt we need to wake up and feel truly alive. So as we wrap up this explainer on Liminal's completely unexpected new frontier, I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. When that dark monolith finally lights up this October, are you ready to safely step into the dark and discover the joy waiting on the other side?